We're here with Betty Jepson, the principal at Carden School. And can you tell us what's so exciting about this school?
Well, we have wonderful children, great teachers, and awesome parents. We came to Arizona in 1978 when my husband was transferred here with IBM. And that's when we were looking for schools, and we looked at a number of schools here in Tucson. And we sent them to Tucson Christian School. And then after a couple of years, people said, "Why do you send your children to Tucson Christian?" And I said, "Well, I think they get a better education, and what they don't get, I can fill in because I used to run a school." I said, "You did? Well, why can't we have a school on this side of town?" At that time, there wasn't a whole lot of private schools on this side of town. So I said, "Well, we could." And I said, "I do have a curriculum." There were a number of people who were interested. And so then we had to get a location, and that was the hard part. And finally, we were able to acquire some space in a church. The first year we opened with about 40 students, and Mr. Curtis and Mrs. Curtis were very instrumental in this. Matter of fact, the street that you come down to get to the school is Curtis, and he owned hundreds of acres. After the first year, Mr. Curtis had got this land already, and we moved down here onto this land with modular buildings. And at that time we probably had about 90 students. Then the county said that we could only have the buildings for 2 years. We had to have a permanent facility, which we couldn't afford, so we moved back into the church for another year. And at that time we had about 120 students. And during that time, we were able to form a limited partnership, and we sold partnerships for $5,000 each. And we sold about 18 of them. And so we had enough money to build half of what I originally wanted to build on this property. Then when we got our own building, we were so excited. We didn't have any furniture, so we'd go to auctions of the school districts and pick up their old things that they were getting rid of, and we'd come back and paint them and put them in the classroom. And I just had a number of people who said, "Oh, it can't be done, it can't be done." But we did it anyway.
Can you tell us how the county supports you with their property?
Well, when we first put our buildings here, Mrs. Hutz, who was the business manager at that time, worked out a deal with the county that they would put in 90 feet back there and fence it all for us for just our use if we would let them come across our property to put in the sewer system. And for that, they gave us that 90 feet. But then we have access to the whole park. Well, when we originally started, we were a private Christian school, and we used the Carden method. And Miss Carden had worked very hard to develop this. She started her school in probably about 1929. She opened her school in New York, and she developed the curriculum by teaching the children, and if it worked, she kept it. If it didn't work, she changed it to something else. But it's all child-oriented.
I've noticed my children using the Carden philosophy at home, taking care of themselves, taking care of this place, and taking care of others. And so that has flowed into our home also.
You're not only teaching his mind, but you're teaching him to be kind. Miss Carden would say, you know, if you'll get along very well in life if you're kind. If she had her way, she said, I wouldn't give grades. I would just teach the children. But, you know, society says we have to give grades. got to compare them. And I've had many teachers who say to me, I should pay you to let me teach here, because I learn so much. And we all do. We all learn a lot. A lot of the youngsters who come back, many of them have said the things I learned here were the things that took me through the rest of my schooling. And then we have people who graduated from here who are bringing their children back. So I think it's an important part of their life. It's a good part.
So can you talk about the size of your school?
Well, we have approximately 130 students. We have 9 classrooms, kindergarten through the 8th grade. We have 10 full-time teachers. Someday we hope to have a library, but we'll just keep dreaming. Right now the teachers hold the books in the classroom.
So what is it that they learn that you think is different than the other schools?
Well, I think the music program is an exceptional program, and the instructor is way overqualified.
A lot of times people say to me, when are you going to retire, Mrs. Jepson? I said, when it isn't fun anymore. And I can tell you it won't be fun if Common Core comes in.
You have an answer? What'd you get?
Sometimes, you realize you get to the point where you're not as useful as you used to be. I can't do the same things. I mean, I used to change the filters on the coolers and mow the lawn and do all of those things and juggle all the balls, and I can't juggle them all anymore. But I've surrounded myself with great people. Miss Gardner is a whiz-bang. I have to brag a little bit about her is because she was one of the students here. We had her from the time she was 4, and I taught her in the last 3 years she was here. She's a product of Carden School.
Can you tell me who you are?
My name is Miss Gardner, as most everybody knows me, or some call me Katie. I am the office administrator, and I've been here for, I believe I'm going into my 7th year. So, and I'm also an alumni, and I went here for 11 years when I was in school here. And no, I did not fail any classes. It was because I started when I was 3, so I took K4 twice.
Well, that's good to know.
It's been a good ride. I've enjoyed it. I've watched my own kids, and it's funny that they'll say, Mom, will you come up here and start a school? I said, I don't think so. I'm too old.
We've certainly enjoyed our visit here at Carden School. Is there a way for people to get more information?
Yes, if they would like to, they could go to our website, which is cardenoftucson.org, and it has information there, and if they need additional information, they can always call the school at area code 520-293-6661.
Thank you.